Why do you sell your votes few days before the elections? Why do you sell your voting rights? Are you not aware that in a democracy, the voters, they own the power? You hear politicians in office saying, by the powers vested upon me, I hereby do so, 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 and so. The powers have been vested upon him by we the people. We the people. If you were to look at government, look at it with the assessment as if you are like trying to see how organogram should be arranged. We are at the level of the boardroom. The workers are the ones who we elect, appoint to work on behalf of us. So we the people, we own the responsibility to correct the workers. Just like the board of any company have the right to correct everybody, including the general managers, medical managing director, and the rest. The board of every company, of every establishment, has the right over these people because they have power over the appointed or elected officers or officials, as the case may be. So we the people, we constitute the board in Nigerian government. Whether it is occurring at the level of the local government or at the level of the state government or at the level of the federal government, the voters, the electorate, they constitute the board. And what to say must hold because we own the power. And that's why you hear these people who are in office saying, by the power vested upon me. Vested upon him by who? We the people. So having known that we the people, we are the power brokers, we the people, we are the power givers, we the people, we are the king makers, how then do we allow ourselves to be treated very cheaply? Very, very cheaply. Because a prince who does not know his place in the palace will be maltreated by the caterers, will be maltreated by the cleaners, will be maltreated by the gatekeepers. He doesn't know his place. We are like that prince. We don't know our place. If you know your importance, there's a way you will behave. A certain government came to Nigeria and they preached something which Nigerians rejected. Change begins with me. People shouted, why? No, no, no. Change must begin at the Aso Rock because the change must begin from the top. Those people who said change must begin from the top, let the change come down from the top down to the bottom. You see the argument? They have put themselves at the bottom. Are they supposed to be there? No. The person who is voting is at the level of the board. The person who is voting, a voter, is at the level of the board. Can you imagine? Maybe you have a big establishment that has a board, a big banking corporation has a board. Then one board member is saying that the bank cashier is maltreating him. Is he thinking well? Or the bank manager of one branch is bullying him? Is he aware of his power? How can a board member of a big bank in Nigeria, board member of a big bank in Nigeria, be saying that one bank manager, a manager of the branch, yeah, he has the power to control, that the bank manager of that branch is maltreating him, the board member? How can somebody say that change must begin from the top and he believes that the top is actually Aso Rock? You see, ideologies govern governments. Ideologies. Government, that's why you don't see most countries of the world, government is not placed in the hands of little children who don't understand philosophy. Philosophy governs government. By the time you place yourself, the person who is supposed to be at the level in organogram of the board, a voter is equivalent to a board member in in the scheme of things in democracy. By the time that voter now believes that he is not important, that the governor or the senator who he voted for is more important than him, there is a problem. There is a problem. He then becomes like the prince who doesn't know that the day his father dies, he becomes the king of that community, of that kingdom. There's that prince who is allowing caterers, allowing cleaners, allowing gatekeepers to maltreat him because he lacks his identity. Nigerian voter who has sold his rights of voting. You have sold your voting rights, you have lost that identity. Let me give you examples of people who have lost their identity, just few. A lecturer, maybe in a polytechnic or university, after conducting exams, people come, students that he has power over. They come, they tell him want to rewrite. He allows them. They pay him. After paying him, he brings out their paper. You know the way they register our examination scripts in the by departments. There's a way you register it, they stamp it, they sign it, the date, they put the date there. So everything is in place. He brings them out. The students rewrite. When they rewrite, they do funny things there just to make an a higher score than what they had gotten earlier. They pay him some amount of money and they go. They have paid this lecturer to act the role of a fool. He is supposed to be over them. He's supposed to be higher than them. I've heard of a student who went to meet his lecturer and say, I got 49. I would have loved to have 1 mark extra so that at least I'll use that one to go higher. So this student needed 1 mark to go to a higher level in grade. Then the lecturer told him, let me look for it for you. So the lecturer went, an old lecturer. He went and started searching his office. The young man was surprised. What's prof doing? He said, I'm searching for 1 mark to give to you. So he walked around. After a time, he now said, oh, let me tell you something. I actually carried your marks walking around to see if I could get an extra mark to add to your mark. However, as I was moving around this office, 1 mark slipped out of my hands. You now have 1 mark less than what you used to have. That student ran away from that office before all the marks would slip away from the hands of the prof. You can see the lecturers I've described to you. One knew his place. One didn't know his place. So that's how students will buy you suya for 10k. Buy a wristwatch, fake wristwatch, they will buy you, and they will buy your rights, and they will buy your, everything about you. Just little change they give you, and they'll go back and laugh at you. Not be that man. No man, you just go and give him something. Buy Google for him. He will just give you extra 10 marks. You think they don't say it? They say it. Ask your students who are close to you. They say it. Another example. You see somebody who is maybe an invigilator or supervisor of an exam, maybe GCE, General Certificate of Examination. Private candidates are writing the exam. They come. They are desperate to pass. They give you money to play the role of a fool. You are supposed to oversee their affairs and make sure they are beneath you and control them in that examinations hall. But you failed to recognize your right and your place, just like the prince I was telling you of a large kingdom who failed to recognize that he is actually the heir to the throne of that kingdom. So they pay you little money and you allow them do what they want to do. That supervisor or invigilator is powerless. He has lost his what? Power. The same way the lecturer who allows himself to be bribed by his students has lost his power, he has lost his identity. Because while those students are in his office writing the exam, they are now in charge. Who is now the oga? The students. They are now the oga. And the lecturer is the boy. If he doesn't know, should go and learn from them. He is not the boy. Those students are your oga. You have misplaced identity. You see a prostitute at the corner, street corner in a busy street, some minutes to midnight. Some people are passing by. They tell her how much is a night. She mentions a price which she thinks is her worth. Because some prostitutes will mention some price. I've heard of an example in a place where somebody said he paid the prostitute for £1 million. Yes, are you shouting? It did happen. £1 million. So the truth is, how you rate yourself is how they see you. So she mentions her price, they take her home. That person who has lost her role, has lost her place in society, because you cannot just see any other woman passing by, even though it's 12 midnight, and say, jump into my car. She won't jump into your car. But because you have paid her, she has lost the dignity of the woman in her, and she has lost her right, and she has followed you. Use her as you wish. She has no right, because she has lost her right. The moment she agreed that she will follow you, she accepted the money, and she jumps into your car, she has lost her dignity, she has lost her respect, she has lost her everything. Or ordinarily, even though she is not properly dressed, you don't know if she's just coming from one end of the city to another. You don't see one on the street and say, jump into my car. You can't do that, because you respect the dignity of that woman. You can see people have mentioned for you, people who have intentionally, not under duress, lost their identity and lost their power. That is the power that the Nigerian electorate, every voter who decides to sell his vote few days to election or even on the election day for a morsel of bread. Some loaves of bread cost more than 5k in this country. Someone will come and meet you and say, take 5k, vote for my candidate, and you agree. Hi. You are the member of the board. You are the highest authority in Nigeria. After God, now you, the voter. But you have left that position like that prince who doesn't know his right. He has left his position, he has lost his identity, and so commoners on the street, councillor, local government chairman, governor, president, people you elected into power, people you gave power to act on behalf of you, they now maltreat you. Even those people who paid you 5k on the election day, they will still tell you, see, we're not giving 5k for nothing. You have to prove to us that you actually did what we wanted you to do. You have to prove to us that you voted for the candidate we are made to support. So prove it to us this way, this way, this way. They will give you certain things to do. At times they will say, show us, and if it's something they can visualize, they'll put somebody close by, show us and see. So one way or the other, you have to work for them and play the fool and misbehave, because you have lost your position, you have lost identity, you have lost your right, you have lost your power. 5k, you lose your identity. You are supposed to be the oga, but you are now the house boy. You are supposed to be the voter who has the power. They beg you, president, governor, senator, they beg voters on the voting day. What does that tell you? You are the chief. You are the one that is now most important, at least on the election day. But you misbehave. After all, this 5k can buy me one mudu of rice and a piece of fish. After all, they don't give me for me to chop my dividend of democracy. So that's your own dividend of democracy. Dividend of democracy is good school for your children. Dividend of democracy is good health care in your neighborhood. Not you entering bus or car, transporting yourself to hospital. No. You should be able to walk down to your hospital. That's your hospital. That's why they call it your hospital. It's in your neighborhood. You don't travel 1,000 kilometers to go to hospital. You want to go and die inside the car? No. You should be able, even though someone stab you on the street, you should be able to hold your tummy and walk down to the hospital. That is how close your hospital should be to you. Maximum 1 kilometer. 2 kilometers, you are in your hospital. So if you are moving 10 kilometers, 15, 20, 50 to go to hospital, oga, madam, you don't have hospital. Those people who are staying 1 kilometer away from that hospital or 2, now then get hospital, you don't get hospital. Better tell your governor or senator to go and build the hospital. You don't have hospital. You should not travel 10 kilometers, 20, 50 to go to hospital. That is wrong. So dividend of democracy is good hospital near to you, next door to your doorstep. Dividend of democracy is good school for your children. And when those children come back from school, you see transformation. Education actually transforms children. Dividend of democracy is good housing. When last did your local government build house for you and say come and pay on hire purchase? When last did your state governor build 10,000 houses and say just take it, one home there is 5 million naira or 10 million naira? Because you work for us in this state, you are a member, you are an indigenous of this community, be paying 100k. If you don't finish it, your children will finish it, so you can live in a good home, so that your landlord will not come and jack your neck again and say where's the money, when you are preparing for your children to go to school first week of January. You see, that is the real dividend of democracy, not you collecting 5k, paltry 5k. Shame on you. Collect 5k and you say you are collecting your dividend. You even know how to spell it, dividend of democracy. So you selling your vote, you should be jailed for life because you don't know what you're supposed to do. You are supposed to tell your people, you're supposed to tell people who are following you, your children, that this is the way to run a government. That's why I said that government is supposed to be governed by ideologies. Ideologies are coming from philosophy. How does this person think? What is his thinking? What is his value system? What does he value as a human being? Has he been able to develop independent thought and independent ideologies? It's not just to say you have left university, you want to become House of Reps member. What do you know about House of Reps? National Assembly is not for children. People who think, who have ideas, who have seen different governments, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tenures of government, who want to make changes because of defaults they have seen in different governments. They are the ones that should participate at that level of governance. You see, they say this man is a councillor, this man is a supervisory councillor. I have noticed that the way we vote in Nigeria, we are the ones in charge of our problems. You see my language I selected? We are the ones, the voters, we are the ones in charge of our problems. Somebody who has maybe worked in account department of a certain institution, is a trained accountant, he's now retired. He has left main office, he's now back home. And somebody, so that man has experience, he's educated, he's well trained, has experience. As a human being, he has developed over different decades. This one may be 58 years, 60 or 62 or more. Then you see somebody who just left university. He's 22 years old. He doesn't know anything about governance. But some people want him to become the councillor. And this old man, maybe 62 or 65, wants to use his ideologies he has created, things he has learned in life, plus education and everything he has gathered as life experience. He wants to use it to develop this, his locality he has settled down in. They disqualify him. And the powers that be say, this is our boy, he's the one that should go there. Nobody is saying nobody has, people don't have the right to vote or to contest election. The people, the voters, they have the right to say this should be our leader. The leader is a product of the community. The leader comes from the people. The leader comes from the people. But by the time the voters have lost their identity, they have lost their power, they have sold their voting rights, they will no longer be able to determine what happens in their democracy. Democracy, they say, is what happens between majority and minority. Majority will always have their way, minorities have their say. So by the time you allow a tiny minority, just 10 persons, 10 or 20 women and men, decide for you that this young man who virtually knows next to nothing should become your councillor at the expense of our retired accountant who is a member of this community, who is now in charge. These men, few men and women, 10 or 20 of them, they are in charge. The hundreds of thousands of people in that local government, they are no longer in charge because they have lost their rights. Their voting right is their right, but they have lost it. So Buhari was right. Change must begin with the people. Because the people, they are the top echelon of the society. The people, they are the members of the board. They are the ones that sit in the boardroom. If you think that change should begin from Aso Rock, change should begin in your local government, headquarters, change should begin in your state government house, you are wrong. Because you are not like that prince who doesn't know where to place himself. The local government chairman, the state governor, the president, and everybody in the government, they are under you, the voter. If you don't know anything about democracy, pause. Don't jump into the democracy. Go and look up something with philosophy. People must learn how to act. How you think is a big determinant of what you do. How you think. The last part of a man to conquer is his mind. They can cut off one hand, they can cut off one leg, they can blind your eyes. You are still alive. The last part of a man that can ever be conquered is his mind. So if you can conquer my mind, you have conquered me. I'm a conquered human being. If you can conquer my mind, God will not allow you, because God has opened my eyes. If you can conquer my mind, you have conquered me. So any person who has decided to sell his vote has been conquered. He is a conquered citizen. Watch him. 4 years time, he still go and play the fool and still support that person that bought his vote. Your voting right, somebody is buying it and you are selling it with all pleasure. You are selling it as if you don't know what you are saying. You say you want to collect your dividend. You don't know what dividend means. May God have mercy on you and open your eyes so you know what they are stealing from you. Like somebody is giving you 2 naira and collect 2 billion naira from you. Should you be happy or should you be angry? You should be angry. Because he has collected two naira from you. He has given you 2 naira and collected 2 billion. That's the devil. Gives you little, collects much, and you don't know what to do. What you should do is to start acting right and stop selling your vote. Have a nice time.